I actually used to work at a technology company down in Eugene, Oregon, and the owner's side hobby was crypto. And so we had a building that was probably a quarter of the size of this room, and it had a small conference room that seated like 8 people, and then the rest was the mining. And it was, so first I was curious, so I got to go build. I was like, how do you build a crypto mine? What does that look like? So got all the wiring, got to like actually build the machines. And then when you go into the room where they're actually mining, the noise is completely deafening. Like it is so, and you can hear it from outside. It is so loud. You can hear it outside. It's muffled outside, but you can hear it. And there were businesses around, but it was kind of in a back part of a parking lot where there were no immediate neighbors. And it was an industrial space.
It would be like living next to the mill here for that.
I mean, I can hear that, and I don't live next to the mill, and I hear it all day, all night, right? So, I mean, it was constant. And also, there's all this, and I'm not an expert in this, but there's technology in how you can cool the machines that are actually mining, right? And so, and this guy was like on the bleeding edge of all the cool and too cool. And so they had like literal, like huge bathtub vats full of like oil. And that wasn't enough to cool. And it was a small crypto experience he had. So he had containers like the dry box that you're going to get out for Archie Anderson. So he had those like outside with additional tubs full of oil, trying to get this all cooled enough, and the energy use was insane. And I don't know that it's, nobody worked there. It literally ran 24/7.
Right.
And there was a guy that would stop by and check on things, and check the levels of the oil. It didn't employ anybody. And again, it used a lot of energy consumption, and it was just, I don't know that there was any benefit to it happened to be in the city of Coburg, Oregon, next to Eugene, but I don't know there was any benefit to the city, because I don't know how they're going to make money.
How do you tax
off of
yeah.
other people's money just moving around, right? So I don't know that there is a financial benefit to us, other than that we're giving or leasing or selling a piece of land that is sitting there. So just having lived it, and also in my day job, I've experienced the data center world. They're just very different, very, very different. So
data center, good.
I don't think that data centers definitely have a high utility need, right? Like down when you cross over in the gorge, I think it's like Umatilla area, right? There's those huge AWS, Amazon data, they're massive. And I mean, I don't even know that we have room for something like that, right?
The environment fund.
Yeah, and so I don't envision something that ginormous coming in, but I do know that there is a draw, but it's a very different draw. And I know that, like, at least where I'm employed, there's a commitment to how do you keep it sustainable, and how do you make sure that you're trying to be, net carbon neutral and all these other things. Like, that's an aspiration. So I think it's really dependent on the organization and who's doing it and their kind of overall intent and as to why. So
I guess what I'm hung up on is they call it, they're mining. What are you mining? It's digital.
It's of digital money.
That's the term they use to describe the work that they do in proofing the computations that prove on the ledger, right? So the ledger being the where everything's written down, that everybody knows what happened, right?
So it's all out here, and they use all this energy with no jobs just to have a computer check another computer's work all day at 1,000 degrees and however many decibels, like a jet engine taking off. I could explain that.
Yeah, but it's definitely more than that. But basically, they're proving that something happened beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you can't just disconnect one machine. It's like a bank ledger, right? But a blank bank ledger that's seen around the world, and whatever moves off of it, it moves for everyone, right? So that you can't fool it, you can't spoof it, you can't counterfeit it, right? That's the inherent security in it, right? So they're doing There's machines that is spread out all over the world, right? So that you can't just take one offline and have the whole system crash, which is why you have all these different mining operations. It's spread out like the internet, right? So I'm pretty passionate about this stuff.
Got it.
But on a personal basis, like I don't believe that we should be sitting on, one of the reasons why they look at places like Longview is because we do have cheap energy, right? Business goes where it makes sense to do business, right? So we're going to sit like somebody on Facebook Marketplace with, 95 Corolla, 280,000 miles. I know what I have, right? And we're going to sit back until we get that offer that we want. Meanwhile, it sits in our driveway doing nobody any good.
You're saying we can't be choosy.
I'm saying, how long did the Mint Farm sit open? We have another business park, right?
Right.
That is sitting open with nobody waiting in line. And we're going to say, well, we should probably limit business, right? Or we should, so then if, let's say we do enact this, how do we police it? How do we do code enforcement on a business that decides they're going to start doing crypto mining on a couple of machines in the back? We're going to go door to door and look at their, open up the machines and see what you've got applications running. How do we police that?